He doesn't know the food chart, though. Chumlee, the popular and strange star of the reality TV show Pawn Stars, has been through a lot. You wouldn't want to cross him after he went from being poor to building a business success. His past was full of violence and drugs. His rise from being unknown in a junk shop to TV stardom isn't just about fame. Aside from that, it's also about the problems and scandals that have followed him around. Chumlee's story is about how he went from being poor to rich. He was a street punk who worked hard to get where he was, but then fell short. Everyone is talking about a shocking event that happened not long ago. In that case, what happened to Chumlee? Come talk about this and more with us. Early days. Russell was born in Henderson, Nevada on September 8, 1982. He is better known as Chumlee. When he was younger, he was like any other kid, except that his face and chin were big. One of his friends' dads joked that he looked like Chumlee, the walrus from the cartoon show Tennessee Tuxedo, when he was about 12 years old. After that, Russell was always known as Chumlee, a term that would stick with him even as an adult and help him become a reality TV star. How did he become a Pawn Star? He met Harisson and became good friends with him. Harisson also lived in the area. The gold and silver pawn shop that Corey's father, Rick Harisson, and grandpa, Richard Harisson, opened in 1989 was a well-known business in Henderson. It wasn't just any junk shop. Later, the reality TV show Pawn Stars would make it popular all over the world, but at that time it was just the Harisson family business. Because Chumlee and Corey were friends, Corey made him a part of the gold and silver pawn shop family. When Chumlee turned 21, he joined the team for real and started working at the pawn shop. The things he had to do were pretty practical and not at all exciting. Many days he checked the new items that came into the store to make sure they worked, loaded and unloaded items, and wrote up tickets for the things that customers brought in. The work wasn't exciting, but it was necessary to keep the shop running smoothly. Before something strange happened, Chumlee worked at the shop for 5 years straight. Reality TV came to visit. The first season of Pawn Stars was shot in July 2009. Chumlee quickly became one of the most interesting characters. His job on the show is mostly to make people laugh. He's shown to be the type of person who doesn't always have the best business sense and makes a lot of mistakes, which makes Rick, Corey, and the rest of the team tease him. He's so stupid that people on the show sometimes call him the village idiot. Being the nice guy that he is, Chumlee doesn't let that bother him too much. He plays his part well, makes people laugh, and doesn't take himself too seriously. But Chumlee isn't what he seems to be. His personality might make him seem a little silly, but he knows a lot about some things, like pinball games. There's a scene in the second season of the show called Pinball Wizards where Chumlee shocks everyone, really Corey, with how much he knows about pinball games. In that moment, it's clear how often he is underrated. For someone who seems calm and a little disorganized, Chumlee knows a lot about some things and is more than capable of handling himself when it comes to the things that interest him. But Chumlee's journey from a kid with a nickname to a reality TV star is really about being himself. Pawn Stars made him popular. People don't have to expect much from you to surprise them with what you know. That's what makes Chumlee so cute. He always does something new. Renowned actor Austin Russell went from working in a pawn shop to becoming a TV star when he joined the cast of the hit show Pawn Stars on the History Channel. The show showed how the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas functions. But what makes Chumlee's story so interesting is that no one, not even himself, thought he would become so famous. That was before Pawn Stars started filming the daily life of the pawn shop. Chumlee had been in the business for a while. Going to work at a pawn shop wasn't exactly an exciting job, but Chumlee was glad to have one, even if most of the time he had to test and move things, write up tickets, and do other boring tasks. He didn't work at any pawn shop, though. This is the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, which is a Las Vegas institution that will soon be known all over the world. And for Chumlee, what started out as a job behind the scenes would become a big deal one day. Pawn Stars takes off. They first showed Pawn Stars on TV in 2009, and it didn't take long for the show to become a huge hit. People were fascinated by the mix of historical facts, family drama, and of course the interesting and sometimes strange things people brought to pawn. The show was mostly about Rick and Old Man Harisson, who were father and son and ran the more important parts of the business, but something strange happened. Because he is so silly and funny, Chumlee quickly became a fan favorite. Even though Pawn Stars was mostly about the Harissons, Chumlee was the one who made people laugh. He was portrayed as the silly and clumsy one. The rest of the team often made fun of him because they thought he didn't know how to run a business or was prone to making mistakes. His part on the show was very important for keeping the pawn shop's more intense talks and serious business in check. People loved Chumlee as the comedic relief because he was always joking around and didn't take things seriously. His nickname, Chumlee, came from the likable but clumsy walrus character from the cartoon show Tennessee Tuxedo. It was a great fit for how he played himself on TV. But Chumlee wasn't just a cute prankster. He had a good eye for collecting some things, especially boots, video games, and other pop culture items, even though he seemed laid back and clueless most of the time. His knowledge in these areas often surprised both his friends and the people who watched him. People might not have given Chumlee enough credit when it came to antiques and historical things, but his skill in his niche areas showed that he had a smart business mind. He just chose to look at different kinds of riches. Chumlee's part grew as the show went on. People could relate to him because he was innocent, funny, and surprisingly good at business. His charm came from the fact that he could laugh at himself. People loved seeing how he stayed true to himself in the often crazy world of the pawn shop business. Chumlee wasn't the smartest person in the shop, but he was the life of the party, and people couldn't get enough of him. As the years went by, Chumlee's fame grew. He worked in more than just pawn shops. Everybody knew his name and loved him for his unique attitude and ability to make the boring things that happen in a pawn shop fun, fame and money. He became more than just a TV figure as Chumlee's fame grew beyond that of porn stars. He became well known. His products started selling like crazy, and he gained millions of followers on social media. Because he was so well known, he was able to appear as a guest on many TV shows and promote goods, which increased his profile in the entertainment world. But with fame came a lot of attention, and the camera wasn't always on Chumlee in a good way. There were some problems with Chumlee's quick rise to fame. Even though he was well known and had a good reputation, he had to deal with big problems that could overshadow his successes. As his star continued to shine, the most important of these were legal problems that came up. Things changed a lot in Chumlee's life in March 2016. Las Vegas cops went to his house and searched it with a warrant. Fans were shocked by this event, which was caused by an ongoing probe into a case. The search turned up more than anyone thought it would. Weapons and drugs were discovered at his home. The media really got into this story, and they talked about every single detail of it in great depth. When Chumlee was in trouble with the law, his generally happy and funny personality took a backseat. The effects of these law problems were very bad. The charges not only hurt Chumlee's reputation, but they also put his career in the entertainment business at risk. The court case that followed got a lot of attention, and Chumlee had to deal with the consequences of his acts in the middle of the media spotlight. An important moment. Chumlee's life and work took a big turn when he got into trouble with the law. He chose a plea deal instead of going to jail. As part of this deal, he had to go to therapy and was put on probation. This plea deal was more than just a way for Chumlee to get out of jail. It was an important time to think about myself and a chance to make things right. Because of the plea deal, he had to not only deal with the legal consequences, but also be closely watched by both the public and the government. Chumlee was under a lot of pressure because he had to deal with his legal problems and try to fix his image at the same time. Fame can be good and bad at the same time. This case was a harsh warning of how quickly public opinion can change. It became clear how it affected his job and home life. His problems were very different from his earlier success, and they made it hard for him to do his job as a comedian. He had to rethink his public image and the way he lived his life after what happened. His journey became centered on the process of redemption and self-improvement, which showed a more complicated and nuanced side of his story that wasn't seen by the camera. Getting in trouble with the law was a wake-up call for Chumlee, but it was also a chance for him to grow and change. It became clear that the road to recovery would be long and hard as he dealt with the effects and worked to rebuild his image. But this hard time also gave him a chance to show how strong he was and how committed he was to personal growth. This set the stage for the next part of his life's work, redemption and support. Even though he was in a lot of trouble with the law, Chumlee got a lot of help from his fellow Pawn Stars group members and the show's producers. Their steadfast belief in his ability to change things for the better was very important during this rough time. His team's support wasn't just a sign of unity, it was also a sign that they believed Chumlee could get through his problems and become his best self again. The legal problems Chumlee was having also led to wider conversations about the problems real people face when their private lives become public. His story became a lesson in the dangers of fame because it showed how quickly someone's personal problems can become big news. The close attention he got showed how hard it is to mix a public persona with a private life and how often celebrity culture is harsh. Private life and charitable work. After going through legal trouble, Chumlee has been trying to improve his image and grow as a person. As he's been getting better, he's really tried to deal with his past mistakes and the lessons he's learned along the way. Chumlee has been honest about the times he has failed and used those times to show that he is committed to changing and getting better. It's no secret that Chumlee's love life has been up and down with relationships. She was his first wife, and they got married in April 2019. They were married for a short time, but they got split after only a few months. Later, Chumlee fell in love with Caitlin J, who used to be a chef. They got married in Las Vegas in a small wedding. Chumlee has said that he wants to have kids, but he and Caitlyn don't have any yet. Chumlee has done things outside of his personal life, like business and charity work. His job goes beyond the Pawn Star set. His work in different businesses shows that he is an enterprising person. Along with that, Chumlee has given a lot of money to good causes. He gives money to groups like the Boys and Girls Clubs of America and the Epilepsy Foundation of Nevada. He shows his dedication to giving back to the community by taking part in charity events like a poker game for autism. Chumlee wants to make a difference and show that his journey is about more than just getting over mistakes he made in the past through his work and charity work. He wants to use his fame and experiences to help causes that are important to him and to show that it is not only possible to change, but also worthwhile to do so. The good and the bad of fame in the United States. Even though Chumlee's personal life isn't always smooth, his desire to help others and make a difference is clear. He likes the idea of helping others, and even though he started out as a poor worker in a pawn shop, he has become a TV star, which is the American dream. However, the bright world of fame does have some dark sides. At first, success seemed like it would bring a lot of happiness and opportunities, but it often comes with its own problems. This was especially clear for Chumlee. He was very successful and wealthy, but it was hard for him to keep up with the demands of his public image and his personal life at the same time. The media and people paid more attention to Chumlee as his fame grew. It was hard to deal with all the attention. His family and friends, who had been kept secret and safe before, were suddenly brought into the public eye. His personal relationships were put under a lot of stress by this change, and people talked about them in public. The media and people paid more attention to Chumlee as his fame grew. It was hard to deal with all the attention. His family and friends, who had been kept secret and safe before, were suddenly brought into the public eye. His personal relationships were put under a lot of stress by this change, and people talked about them in public. People who used to back each other in private became involved with the public eye, and every private matter became something to talk about and argue about. Of course, this was just the start of his woes, including legal issues and attention from the media. In 2016, things took a big turn for Chumlee. He was in trouble with the law and was being closely watched by the media, which added to the stress he was already feeling. The arrest and probe that took place at this time were more than just legal problems. They were a huge source of stress and shame for everyone. The case was constantly covered by the media, which made every mistake and slip-up seem worse. The situation got worse when rumors and false information got around. A particularly upsetting event was when a false report spread that Chumlee had died. Not only did this false claim make his fans very scared, but it also had a big effect on his family and close friends. It was a stark example of how rumors about famous people can have a big effect on people's personal lives, making the mental stress of being watched by a lot of people worse. Chumlee's problems are typical of what many famous people go through. When someone goes from being a private person to a public figure, they face a unique set of problems. Having to keep up a certain image, being afraid of what other people will think, and being criticized all the time can be very bad for mental health. Chumlee didn't just find the stress of fame and all the extra attention from the media annoying. He was going through deep personal problems that touched every part of his life. Even with these problems, Chumlee has been strong. His dedication to helping others and his efforts to learn from his mistakes show how determined he is to deal with the challenges of fame while still wanting to make a difference. In spite of all the problems he faced, his trip shows that there is a way forward with real effort. One can work on redemption, personal progress, getting through hard times, and mental health. His journey has been hard in many ways, including legal problems and the stress of fame, but it is also a story of personal success and strength. Even though things have gone wrong, Chumlee has shown an amazing ability to change and grow. One of the main reasons he was able to win is that he is determined to deal with his mental health problems and fix broken relationships. Chumlee has worked hard to find ways to deal with the stress of being famous. This has meant doing things like going to social events, working out, and focusing on mental health. These actions show how much he wants to deal with the challenges of fame and make his life better in general. Famous people can have a huge effect on your health, as Chumlee's story shows, most especially for people who become famous on TV. It shows how important it is to have strong support systems and find good ways to deal with the stresses of public life. His story is a good lesson that even people who seem to have everything can have big problems. To deal with these problems well, you need both inner strength and help from others. Chumlee's business plans. Chumlee's business ventures show a different side of him besides his part as the likable but clumsy character on Pawn Stars. One that is focused on using his fame to make money as a business. He is very good at planning ahead and wants to build a brand that goes beyond TV, which can be seen in his business activities. One impressive example of Chumlee's business sense is his foray into the candy business with Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard. This candy shop is more than just a business. It's right next to the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. It shows Chumlee's plan to expand his brand's appeal. Fans of Pawn Stars and candy lovers alike will enjoy the store's wide selection of traditional sweets and one-of-a-kind designs. Chumlee's candy store is a real example of his desire to make something lasting and important that goes beyond his TV persona. The way he plans to grow his brand and make money off of his fame is clear in this. Chumlee sees the shop as more than just a way to make money. It represents his larger goals and his desire to be an entrepreneur. These projects show that Chumlee is not only dealing with the difficulties of fame, but also making plans for his future. His candy business success shows that he can turn personal victories into professional ones, combining the complicated parts of his public life with a forward-thinking approach to business. Merchandise and getting fans involved. His business includes more than just his sweet shop. He also sells a lot of different things. Fans can connect with their favorite Pawn Stars figure outside of TV with his line of products, which includes t-shirts, bobbleheads, and personalized items. Fans can keep these things as reminders of the show and use them to bring some of Chumlee's fun and personality into their daily lives. The success of this merchandise line gives Chumlee another way to make money and strengthens the link between his brand and his fans. He promotes his different businesses and interacts with fans in real time on sites like Instagram and Twitter. His busy online presence is now an important part of staying relevant and increasing sales. In the digital world we live in now, it's important for businesses to understand and use social media correctly. And Chumlee's skillful use of these platforms shows that he knows how to use current marketing techniques. There's more to running a business than just having a catchy name. Even though Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard is a hit, it needs more than just celebrity support to really take off. The sweet shop is in a busy shopping area with lots of other businesses, so Chumlee needs to be good at business and know the market well to stay ahead. Chumlee has had to learn a lot, from running day-to-day business to figuring out what customers want. These events have taught him important lessons about being a business. To keep the business going, he has had to deal with changing market conditions, solve problems with logistics, and keep in touch with customers. Chumlee's ability to handle these duties shows how dedicated he is and how much he has grown as a business. It also shows that his goals go beyond his TV fame. Chumlee's businesses, like his candy shop and merchandise line, show how artistic and interested he is in many things. Each project shows a different side of his personality and gives him new ways to connect with his viewers. His net worth, which is thought to be around $5 million, shows how successful he is in both business and TV. The most interesting thing about Chumlee's story is that he built his success from nothing. Chumlee's success is the result of his hard work and determination, unlike many people who are wealthy or have ties that help them get ahead. His journey shows that you can become great by sticking with it and coming up with new ideas. Chumlee's story is an inspiring example of how fame can be used to make a difference that lasts. He has left a legacy that goes beyond his part on Pawn Stars by building his brand and starting a number of different businesses. The fact that he was able to turn his fame into business success shows how smart and determined he is. Some people didn't like Chumlee's weight at one point, as they do with many famous people. Chumlee is having weight issues. Chumlee grew bigger over time, and fans started to say bad things about how he looked, which turned into conversations that took away from what he did for the show. This close attention could have easily turned him off, but Chumlee dealt with it in a mature and honest way. He didn't try to hide from these comments. Instead, he admitted that his weight was hurting his health, which was brave and bold. His decision to talk about his weight problems in public not only made his fans like him more, but it also gave them hope. A lot of people admired how determined he was to make things better. People who were going through similar problems could relate to Chumlee's honesty about his weight loss journey and his determination to live a healthy life. Take control of your life can make a big difference, and his change is a good model for people who want to make changes in their own lives. His journey wasn't just about losing weight. It was about changing everything about his life. Chumlee promised to work out every day and changed his diet by cutting out sugar and processed foods. It wasn't a quick fix. He was committed to improving his health for a long time. Aside from changing his looks, the effects were huge on both his mental and physical health. Chumlee lost weight and got a lot more than just a slimmer body. He felt more like himself again, better attention and more confidence. This change on the inside was just as important as the change on the outside, because it gave him new strength in both his personal life and his work. By telling his fans about his experience, Chumlee became an inspiration to many people who are also having health problems. Without giving up, his story shows that real change is always possible with drive and hard work. A story that went crazy. When it comes to famous people, stories can spread quickly and easily on the huge and often mean social media sites. Even though Chumlee is known for being happy and having a lot of fans, he wasn't immune to the harsh truth of these stories. Some people told him he had died, which was one of the most shocking and hurtful lies he heard. It was a clear case of how bad and unreliable fame can get. The story that Chumlee had died spread like wildfire, but there was no proof or reliable source to back it up. Even though it wasn't true, the story spread quickly on social media, blogs, and in newspaper headlines. For Chumlee, what happened was strange and very scary. The thought that people might think he died for no reason left him confused and mentally shook. What was even scarier was how it made his family and friends feel. The false story spread through Chumlee's family and friends, making them upset. They got a lot of messages of sympathy and questions about his health, which made them feel confused and upset. What was meant to be a joke or a shocking headline changed their lives upside down. Because of what happened, Chumlee and his family had to tell his fans and friends that he was still alive and well, which was not fun. This showed Chumlee the bad side of fame by showing how quickly personal and public lives can get tangled up and messed up. He was shocked by the false story, and it also made him think about how fragile fame is in this digital age. In an instant, an untrue claim can turn into a full-blown story, leaving family and friends with a lot to think about and worry about. What a lesson in being responsible. It made me think a lot about what is right and wrong when it comes to reporting on celebrities. People began to wonder what kind of news they were reading and why there is such a thing as fake news. Folks and fans alike stopped to think about how much of the news we read online is real, and how we can all help each other figure out what's real and what's not in this world based on the internet. Chumlee and his family were able to start over after everything calmed down, with help from Pawn Stars cast members and friends from all over the world. This case showed how important it is for celebrities to have good relationships with their fans. A lot of bad things were said about Chumlee, but he learned that staying upbeat can help you get through even the worst slander. Afterward, what did he say? Chumlee taught everyone a classy way to deal with this tough situation. No matter what, he kept his cool and was always honest. It made his fans love him even more. He didn't let it break him. Instead, he used it to teach himself something. He wanted his fans to know that it's okay to feel down sometimes, especially if you're a famous person who is having trouble, but you should also keep your strength and not let it get to you. These days, Chumlee is really into spreading the word about schooling. His whole message is to tell young people to follow their dreams no matter what. Everyone can use his story to remember to stay strong and never give up, even when it seems like the odds are against you. What do you think about this? Please tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell to get notifications when we post new videos. To see more interesting videos like this one, click the video on your screen right now.